grow it, and it makes it hard for those who would like to propagate it, and just for reasons of keeping it around. Uh, but hopefully it won't disappear. It's a good question. Another question which was asked was seeds, the genetics of ginseng. What grew here originally? I planted seeds from northern Ohio. I planted seeds from Canada. Now, what's that going to do to the genetics of that? I don't know. So far, it doesn't seem to bother it, but time will tell. I do know that the seeds from Canada are a whole lot cheaper. Rural Action and UPS will sometimes get you. Chip will probably get me some seeds. I have some other friends, but I haven't contacted them. Well, we used to buy them from Canada. There was a supplier in Canada that was growing cultivated ginseng, not wild simulated, but cultivated. This is all wild simulated, but I bought seeds off of him. That was part of his.
Interesting. So if it was cultivated seeds that you are now wild simulating, I wonder what that does to it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It is interesting to see what it does.
Yeah.
But now I've planted those for several years. I've seen what the result, as far as the appearance of the root. I haven't chemically analyzed it, but
And what does it look like? Does it
looks like wild roots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. So I don't see a big problem with doing that. Some people do, and they're entitled to their opinion. Mine is, I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't. It's interesting though, if you would look at the alkaloids that are in it, the ginsencides, and see if there is a difference. But ginseng is a product that chemically is not the reason people buy it. That's not the reason Chinese or Southeast Asia people buy ginseng.
What's the reason?
It's more psychological, I think, really. And I know when I was in Vietnam, the men I was with, they said, you're old enough, because to them, ginseng was an old man's herb. So that's the way they saw it. When you got older, you took it. And it was kind of they looked at it as kind of, well, you're well off if you're taking ginseng. You're pretty high on the ladder if your son can buy you a big bottle of rice wine with ginseng in it, or a cobra's head, and a status symbol. It's hard for us to wrap our minds around some things like that. But really, whenever I sell ginseng, they're not going to take that ginseng and run chemical analysis on it. They don't care. They can get it to China, or they can get it to Southeast Asia and sell it and make a profit. And it's really appearance. The appearance has a lot to do with your ginseng. I was up in West Virginia, and that organization, they would have buyers that came from Charleston, West Virginia, during the summer. Now, you're not allowed to dig it legally. So what they would do, these growers would dig theirs and they'd bring it in, and these buyers would judge it, would grade it, okay? And so I hadn't been growing it too long, and I went up there, and I know these two women, they were growing it, and they had some of the most beautiful roots. Boy, they were big as my thumb, and that long. I thought, wow, that's good. And the buyer came by, and he looked at it, picked it up, and smelled it, and all that good stuff. And he said, I would give you about $40 a pound dry. And their jaws dropped, like, what's wrong with it? Look how beautiful it is. To Americans, it was beautiful. He said, it's too pretty. He says, you've cultivated the ground. And he said, I can tell, they can tell, a good buyer knows when it's cultivated. Okay, he goes on down the line, and there's this old man and his son, and they were from Princeton, West Virginia, and they had some gnarly looking old roots. And I thought, man. And the guy reached in his pocket, got his card, and he said, here, when you get ready to sell it this fall, give me a call. I'll come to your place and I'll buy it. He said, it's valuable. He didn't give a price on it, being a good businessman. But he said, that's what I want. I want that kind of ginseng. And I asked these guys, I said, how did you grow it? And this is what they told me. Well, we grow it on a mountainside. A lot of rocks. And the boy said, yeah, my dad makes me go get rocks and put on, after it comes up, after it's a few years old, put rocks above it to stress it so it makes gnarly type roots. And it was hard looking stuff, you know. Some of it was mouse eaten, some of it, but that's what the customer wants. That's what the Chinese want. They don't want, we Americans, you know, we won't eat an apple if it's got spots on it. It's got to be perfect. It doesn't matter if it's been sprayed 10 dozen times with insecticides that can get in our bodies and don't do us a bit of good. But we want something that's beautiful, pretty. You know, dumb Americans, right?